Awesome.
Are we at news break yet?
Yeah, we are.
Not yet.
We are at news break.
No. 47? Okay.
Awesome. We are coming through
Okay.
YouTube and Facebook. Yay!
Okay. Okay. Could you turn the screen around so I can see it? Okay.
All right. There we are. We're live. How much time?
Hey everybody, thanks for being on the live stream.
Awesome.
Welcome to the Peak News. Hope that woke you up. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer. Welcome to our Wednesday show, third show of our second season. So happy to be back on the air. Hope you missed us. We are spending this week here on the Peak. Well, the Peak is all about people. One of our taglines, one that we started with, is the Peak, it's yours. And we really believe that. This is a citizen journalist grassroots media project. What does that mean? Well, we're still trying to figure that out. But overall, what it means is this should be your voice. This should be the voice of the Pikes Peak region. That's what media, in my opinion, should be. And we should have professionals and semi-professionals, telling the news, and people who are on as guests, and just common people that are uncommon because they're doing something and they're worthy of being on the news and talking about what's going on in our region. And that's what we're seeking to do here, because if you haven't noticed, the media, for the most part, did you watch the vice presidential debate last night? Do you see what the media is about? Does it seem that it's fair and balanced? Does it seem that it's objective, that reporters are actually there to make sure that the people that they're talking to can do their best to communicate what they want to communicate and let the listeners, the viewers, decide? Doesn't seem like that. Hasn't seemed like that for a very long time. And that's why now we have, the very fact that we have conservative media, what is that? We're here on the conservative news station, news talk station with Salem. Why do we have conservative media? Well, it's because quite a long time ago it became apparent that what's called the mainstream media, it's really the money media, the one that has basically control of the news and how it goes out in all of its forms, was not being unbiased, was not being fair, was not doing their job, but was toward what we would say is the liberal left slant. So now there's a response with conservative media, and none of this should be. It should just be the media. And when a reporter comes on, certainly we all have our opinions and our bias, but we should do our best to bring you information so that you can make up your mind and not tell you how to think or how to indoctrinate you. And if we're giving our opinion, which we do at times, we have opinions, and we are the ones closest to the story and evaluating the story, that you know who we are, so that you can say, just like you would with a friend who's giving you information, like, wow, I know this friend is like this, and I know this friend is like that, or when I read this, that author tends to be this way, and then we can judge. We can do that. But when people come on, like, for example, because it's the freshest example on a national, international scale, was last night at the vice presidential debates. It was so obvious, the way the questions were being asked, the way they were followed up on, that they are biased toward one of the candidates. Well, that's not the job of a moderator, is it? And it's certainly not the job of an interviewer in the news area. And so my job here when I interview people, and anybody else that would come on and host the program, or any of our reporters, need to try to allow the person that's being interviewed to tell the story in the best way that they can, not to try to bias them or push them in a direction or do something gotcha or anything like that. But that's what's going on. And so here we are as the Peak, trying to take it back bit by bit, piece by piece, with your help. And we say at the Peak, we say the quiet stuff out loud. And that's because, for the most part, journalism in our local region and around the country, but who sort of cares about that? Can't really do much about that. So here in our local region, it's more the questions that aren't being asked. So we try to handle topics, and we will over time do that. And so here, as we are establishing our 2.0, our second season of the Peak News, we're spending this week talking about vision and going through pieces. And on Monday, I introduced, and all of these will be in podcasts, they'll be up soon. It takes us generally a couple days till we put things up in podcasts, but we are streaming on Facebook. I should mention that, forget to do that. We're now doing that in 2.0. Facebook.com, The Peak News Media on Facebook. You can check us out. We'll hopefully be streaming on YouTube soon, but not today. Is setting that vision and talking about what we're doing. And yesterday we talked about investigative journalism. Today we are talking about our internships. And we have on the program today 3 of our interns: James Fiddler, our tech intern, Audra Gapper, who's pretty new, and she's a reporter, producer, intern, and Zach Goldman, if you recognize the last name, yes, my son, doing an internship here as the internship coordinator and citizen journalist coordinator. And then we'll also be talking about the Peak News Educational Foundation and this awesome journalistic ethics and media vocational program that we are working on, so to go into the high schools and eventually the colleges to train young local people about how to be journalists and then plug them into an internship here. Well, we are supported, one of the major players in the Peak is our sponsors, and so as you listen to the commercials, please consider patronizing them. But a shout out to our platinum sponsor, Springs Dentist and Dr. Craig Summer, Holistic Dentistry in Colorado Springs. Thank you so much for being with us since before the beginning to make this happen, as well as all of our interns who've been with us since the beginning and some new ones that are here now. How important is it to break into media using an internship? Well, basically, unless your parents own a radio station or a TV station, it's basically the only way. So when we come back, we're going to be joined with our interns, starting with James Fiddler, our tech intern, who, wow, 1 for 1, we were with him, getting him work here at the station. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. We'll be right back. You So that's it.
Okay.
Okay, can
Well,
you
you
give
plug
that to
this in.
Audra?
This is plugged in. I did.
Give that to Audra, please.
So James is coming in now?
Well, he's doing it from the booth.
Okay, that makes sense.
So we can't
I
get
could
him.
I could run it too.
You know, we should have put the camera just on me for this.
You could turn it now if you want.
What? No, well,
So it won't be a still shot. I mean, also I could run it if you want James in here as well.
James? Yeah, I'd like that.
I just wanted to let you know some of the packets are messed up.
In what way?
Well, some of them don't have these. Some of them are just, they have the back, but they're missing some of them.
Yeah, so take them all out. I'm glad you're doing that. I don't know how a bunch of guys can mess things up so bad. Yeah, for sure.
Watch the levels.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here on the Peak. We're bringing in James.
Do the hand signal.
Hey,
Hello, Facebook. How's it going?
over there.
Hello, Facebook. Well, it was mostly for Zach over there.
Okay. Make sure you're in the shot up there. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer. We are the local daily program here. Great national hosts during the week. But, if you want to find out what's going on locally, they're not going to be talking about it. Unless, Colorado, I take that back. Colorado has some messed up stuff that becomes national, and then they're talking about it. But on a daily basis, we're always talking about the Pikes Peak region. And I forgot to mention in our first segment, but I want to let you know, well, first of all, I did mention that we're streaming on Facebook, so you can check us out, facebook.com. Our page there is the Peak News Media. But we are having a pothole contest. What does that mean? We want you, if you haven't noticed, our streets in Colorado Springs and elsewhere in Colorado, but around Colorado Springs, El Paso County, aren't that great. There's a lot of potholes causing damage to people's cars and just, an inconvenience. It doesn't look good for such a great city as this. And so we would like you to find, I guess it's not your favorite pothole, your most infamous pothole that you can see as you're going around. Take a photo, post it on Facebook, on our Facebook page. We have a post for that, and do that. We're going to be giving out prizes each week, a prize each week, which includes this handy dandy coffee mug that we have for the Peak News. If you're watching on Facebook, you can see it. I drink my coffee out of it every day, as well as some other things that we're figuring out, and to invite you down to watch the show live, or even come on if you want to come in the booth and come on the program. So join that pothole contest, and it's more than a pothole contest, because it's the start of citizen journalism. Like, if you can notice something, report on it, and then we're going to go deeper with that, because why are there all these potholes, especially when we have special taxes just to fix the roads, and they want more. So we need to figure this out. Part of the news, part of the things nobody seems to be asking, at least at a professional level, but we're doing it here. So, as I said, this first week back in our 2.0, in our season 2, we are going through the people who have come alongside us, that have built out during 1.0 and helped us get to 2.0, because really the Peak News, it's all about the people. I mean, the reporting, the stories, of course, all about people. That's what the news is. I mean, there are events, but they tend to, unless it's a natural disaster, but that involves people too, because it affects, so it's always about the people. But the people who come into a citizen journalist situation, who are volunteering and reporting, it's not a job, it's a passion, it's a love, are the ones who have helped make this happen. So it was my concept originally, but it's all the people that came around it. Originally the sponsors, of course, Salem Media, agreeing to let me do this during the week, and because we don't have it, and so they loved it, but I was the person to do it, so I credit to them, and then all the production people and all the support staff here at Salem Media, and then we started getting in interns and citizen journalists, and they've made it happen. So today, as we move into 2.0, this is our tribute to interns, and we have with us, three of our interns: James Fiddler, our tech intern; Audra Gapper, our reporter producer intern; and Zach Goldman, our intern, who is the internship and citizen journalist coordinator. And you'll be meeting them over the course of the program. And we are starting, well, with where we started, with our first intern, James Fiddler. James, thanks for not being in the booth, coming out of the booth. Zach's sitting back there now because you trained him how to do this. Thanks for being on the Peak.
No problem. A lot more pressure out here on the air.
Yeah, I know. You tech intern guys try to hide back there with your technology and try to make sure that the mic's up when it's time for me to speak. So James, thanks for doing this, and you've been doing this since basically when we started back in January, and also doing the live show, and also posting our podcasts so that people can hear them, because a lot more people can listen over time on podcasts. But give us your background.
So I started in, I guess, video and editing and music sophomore year of high school, I'll say. Mostly was doing movies.
So just a few years ago, because
Just a
you
few
graduated high school in the spring, yeah.
No, a year ago I graduated. So I'm.
Okay.
It's since been a year since.
Oh,
I
that's right,
graduated.
because you came with us in January, so
Yeah.
a year ago spring. Okay, so
Wow.
a few years ago.
Yeah, time flies. Crazy. Yeah, so a few years ago I started, and mostly doing video and acting, and then I started getting into editing, and I fell in love with the editing side. Used to hate it. I'd sit down on the
Video
computer.
editing.
Yeah, video editing. Sat down at the computer. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, what the heck? But yeah, so then I started loving editing, and my parents, nepotism. They knew you, so friend nepotism, and they were
Well,
like, this
really
guy's-
wasn't nepotism. I have to tell you, I sat with them because they're good friends of mine, your parents, and I said, hey, how can you help with the show? Like, what do you want to do? And when I told them everything, they're like, we got a son for you. I said,
Sick.
please
Sold me
send
off.
them over. Yes, they sold you into slavery here.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you to the Fiddlers.
Yeah, no, but it's been great. I've learned a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's awesome working here.
By the way, also, just, tip for anybody in a volunteer situation, if you know the parents or the family, better chance the person's going to show up and do their job. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
'Cause
I've never missed a day. So.
Yeah, and because we've had interns that never showed up, and and when you're doing a live show, that's really aggravating. So tell us what it's been like to be the tech intern here. What it's been like working here at the Peak.
First, it was smooth sailing. Right, I got into it. I was like, this is going great. And then like the work happened, and I was like, hold on, this is real. Like, this is a real thing. This is an actual. I come in and I do work, and I'm learning new things every single day. And so, yeah. Then I got again back into the groove of things, editing, uploading, and running the live shows, which one of my favorite things to do, running the live shows, because it's going to be different every time. There's going to be something new that you're going to have to figure out, especially when you don't know
I
how
have
to
to tell you,
edit.
the very first day he came in here, and we were just a couple weeks in, so it was especially crazy with workflow. And I'm like, I got a segment for you to edit. I don't have time to do this like here. And he just went in and he had it edited for air. It was awesome.
Great stuff.
So, what have you learned here? I mean, a lot. You came in with some level, but not really with the radio side. But doing a live broadcast show and the podcast, what have been some of the things that you've learned now? I mean, you're only 20 now. You came in, you were 19.
Mm-hmm.
What did you pick up the most around here?
I picked up the most time management skills because, oh my gosh, time is so important. Right back in high school.
Because you're working a bunch of part-time jobs also.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm working 4 jobs right now. Zipline, radio, Perry's Pizza Manager, and I work in an auto shop doing body work.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I
but-
really respect that.
Then, thank you. You got to manage your time right. If you don't, you get behind on everything. And back when I was in high school, had to work on, a bunch of stuff, but there wasn't ever really a time limit. They were like, yeah, finish or whatever. Here, it's like, all right, every single day I have got to have stuff done by 3. And then I got a job here after interning. I don't know if we said
Yeah,
that.
we're going to talk about that next.
Okay, sick. But yeah, now that I'm working here, I have 3 days to get all my stuff done because I only work 3 days a week. And if I don't get it done, that's bad. And before, I never have to worry about that. So I'd say time management is what I've learned the most.
Okay, and technically, what are some cool things that you
Technical stuff. I learned how to run the board. Never knew how to run the board before this. I learned a lot of sound quality and editing stuff. which is very important for music and radio because if your sound doesn't sound good, that's everything on radio's sound. So if it sounds bad, you're not doing your job.
Yeah, we got video
We
now.
do have
Actually,
video
radio.
now.
It's so funny because radio is becoming television now in a way. But doing this show, yeah, we have the live program, but there's also commercial spots that get done. Sometimes we have sound bites that we need to come in. Of course, we have the Jim rants that we have to pick out every day because Jim is not here for 2.5 minutes every day. We don't do that to the poor working guy Jim. He comes in once a week and records his rants. So there's a lot of production and it's on deadline. I mean, we walk in here at 3:00 ready to go, and everything better be set.
On Monday, they were like, hey, so Peak 2.0 coming. We have a bunch of spots. Get this done. And I was like, okay.
And I'm forgetting this was a 10-minute segment. I'm used to 12 minutes on our interview. Congratulations, because you did what an internship is supposed to do. Salem saw him working hard and hired him, and he's now a tech here, paid as well as doing the internship. So James Fiddler, thanks so much for being our #1 intern.
Thank you.
I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. We'll be right back with Audra. Okay, so I'm always, when I'm doing an interview, I'm looking for 12 and the music. Good thing we have bumper music.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get Audra in here.
Cool. How to do? Good.
That was great, man.
Sick.
Thanks. Sorry I didn't budget the time, right?
No
We
problem,
were talking
no
about time management. Okay.
Audra, you're up.
Hello.
Hello.
Have a seat. The mic should be real close. Inch or two. And so it's just voice.
Okay.
So you got to project. We got a higher energy
Yeah.
because all people get is your voice. So
Okay.
there's sort of an intensity that feels unnatural, and I know you're sort of quiet. So for radio, you got to really push it out there so people can hear that you're passionate about stuff. So
Okay.
volume they can handle as long as you're close, but it's more an intensity because we don't have body language and hand. I talk with my hands on because it helps me, but everything has to come through the voice.
Got it.
Okay, and try to give substantial answers, long answers. But there'll be a couple minutes on your background, and then what are you interested in and what have you been working on.
Okay.
So that's it. This is a 5.5-minute segment.
Okay.
So if you see me do this, it means wrap it up like 10 or 15 seconds, finish your thought so I can get to another question. And when you hear music, that means we're 30 seconds from the commercial, so we have to wrap at
Okay.
that point and move on. That's our bumper to make sure that we don't run over. That's our warning track.
Yeah.
There. So any questions, thoughts? Anything?
No, that makes sense.
You're good? Okay, cool. Excellent. Thanks for doing this. Okay, we're back. 12. Back in a minute. Do we have people? Hey, Zach. Zach, the screen went blank on the computer. Is it plugged in with?
Plugged in and everything. But why is the screen blank? Did your computer sign out? Sign
No.
out? Sign it in?
We're back on 30 seconds.
I don't know if that stopped the live stream. Probably did.
But why would it do that if we're live streaming? And it didn't do that yesterday, right? So do I have to? Oops.
Covering the, because we don't want the camera that big.
Okay, no, it looks like it's still going. So do I need to okay, we're on in 5 seconds. I think. No, do we have another 30? No.
Should be on.
One of this, I think no, at 30. I got this, a 3.5-minute break.
Oh, no, it stopped. It did.
Okay. Try to, well, if you can try to keep your head out of the shot. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. Thank you, Zach, for doing that. We lost our Facebook live stream with a computer glitch, but I think we're back on, so you can check us out on Facebook at facebook.com, of course, the Peak News Media. So we are spending this third episode of our second season talking about something that's crucial to us, which is interns. We always had designed the Peak to have interns for a couple reasons. One, it's citizen journalism, so that's another form, free labor. But more than anything else, this is how you break into media, and this is how I did. I had internships when I was finishing up college back in none of your business, way back. And internships aren't as available as they used to be, so we wanted to aggressively do that. And we put out the word to the local high schools, and we had Audra Gapner apply about a month or so ago, and so we welcome Audra to the Peak News. Audra, thanks so much for being an intern.
Thank you.
It's been great to have you. So you decided, because we have sort of two basic categories of intern. We have the tech, social media intern, and we have the reporter producer intern, those who actually want to come on and learn to tell stories and bring it on the air. So this is the first time we're bringing you on the air to talk about yourself, not about other people. But give us some of your background. What high school you're going to? How'd you get interested in media?
Well, so I go to Liberty High School, and I kind of first got started with kind of media and everything because I like watching movies. I love listening to the radio, and just when I watch things and read things, I always get like excited because I'm like, if I could be a part of this, then I could make a difference and I could see change instead of just watching it on a screen.
You know what? That's it. That's the description. Being a storyteller, someone who says, you know what, I can do that, and I want to do that. I might be able to do it better than other people, but I want to be part of it, not be a passive listener or watcher. So excellent. That's exactly what we're looking for. So what have you been doing? We've set you on this course, set you up with working with Jordan Baldwin, who we had on the program yesterday, who's heading up our investigative journalism. So what has that been like, starting to head into that reporter direction here?
Well, it's been interesting. I've discovered that, reporting is not exactly what I thought it was. It's a lot of kind of being calm and not being like, I need answers now. So it's a lot of just asking questions, kind of being attentive, kind of just wanting to show them that you're looking for the truth and not having an ulterior motive. On the story I'm doing.
Yeah, tell us about that, because we had a story meeting with our citizen journalist a few weeks ago, and you said you wanted to work on something specific.
Yeah. So youth homelessness was kind of the topic that I chose. Also kind of dipping into the mental health and kind of the resources they need. And I kind of found out a lot with just the few days I went with Jordan and kind of interviewing people. And we just saw that there's not a lot of things. There is not a lot of resources, and they try to help as much as they can, but there's not a lot out there. And I think not a lot of people know kind of what's happening and kind of such a problem it is. They see people on the street, but they don't know really the steps taken to solve that problem.
Okay, I don't know if you want to mention any of the sources you're working with, but in basic categories, who have you been, where did you go, and who have you been asking?
Yeah, so we first went to Inside Out Youth Services.
We have about a minute left.
And then we went to The Place, and The Place is where we got a lot of information, just kind of on kind of the housing that they're trying to do, kind of new, an apartment building they're trying to make, and then all the outreach teams that they go to, and mostly just kind of what they do. And you just see people all over the place trying to help out, and it really makes a difference.
Well, that's excellent. And how old are you?
I'm 17.
17. So we have a 17-year-old down here who's going out and looking for stories and asking questions that adults who are professionally here aren't doing. And that's what the Peak Internship Program, that's what the Peak Citizen Journalism Program is about. Audra, thank you so much and look forward to hearing your story when you're ready to tell it.
Well, thank you.
When we come back, I'm going to have Zach Goldman on, not just my son, but our intern who is our internship and citizen journalist coordinator. Cool, thank you, excellent.
Cool.
Thank you very much. Send Zach on in. Zackles.
Hey.
Okay, this is only a 2-minute break, so we're back in a minute and a half.
Alrighty.
Okay, so remember, we got 12 minutes on this. I'm gonna mention the Peak EDU in the middle there because the final segment, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
So remember, high energy, intensity, enunciate, make time cues. So if I wrap it up or tell you 1 minute or 2 minute budget for something to try to land the plane there so we can get through this and try to give complete answers. Watch the ums and the ahs and
Yes, sir.
things like that as much as you can. It's okay to do them, but
Okay, and then this is 15
well,
or 30?
no, that's just wrap it up, like finish.
Okay.
Of course, when there's music at the end, I gotta get it back and close.
Right. And
But
then what's 30?
I'm not doing. I mean, 30 is this, but I'm not doing
Okay.
that generally. I'll either generally give you, hold up a finger that you got a minute or time to wrap it up, finish up.
Right.
And let- Hey family, comma, in 30 seconds, Zach is our guest on the Peak, if you want to tune in. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1, The Answer. And this is our first week of season 2. So happy to be on the air. Glad I remembered how to do this stuff. I don't know if I actually thought I'd forget, but when you stop doing something for a little while, you'll wonder. But it's fun to be back here. But what's especially fun is that we are building out the Peak. It's not just me anymore. But there's actually a team of people here, and that team is helping us grow the bigger team. And so we are highlighting 3 of our interns here. James was on before, our tech intern, reporter intern. And we have in this segment Zach Goldman, who you can recognize the last name, is my son, graduated high school in the spring. And I said, hey, come help me do stuff over here at the radio station. And he's been regretting it a lot ever since, but having a lot, it's hard to work with your father, especially when your father is me. But he's learned a lot. It's been great having him here. And Zach Goldman, welcome back. We had you as a guest before here, but welcome back to the Peak.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for making the show happen every day. So Zach has been the intern of interns. He's been the one I said, hey, come in here and help me get more citizen journalists and interns, because every day I'm trying to put out this program, have it be an excellent program. I'm basically doing it by myself, and because of that, I don't have time to bring in the people to help me. So Zach has been instrumental in making the program happen in 1.0 during the past couple of months when we were trying to figure out, how do we get back on the air in a better way, in a more structured way with the resources we need. Without him, I'll say that to you, Zach, thank you, because without you, I would have just been flailing around. So having that extra person, especially the one who's trying, every day I said, replace yourself. Do that, replace yourself. So thank you, and you've done it, and we're getting momentum, and you continue to send out these internship flyers to the local schools and coordinating our citizen journalists who will start giving us content very, very soon. But give us your background here, growing up in our family, media and being involved in, crazy visionary projects has been part of your life. But how's it been, working here, and what do you feel in your background, has allowed you to really do this job and do it well?
Well, see, I was the middle. I guess I am still the middle child.
You are.
There's six children.
Number 3 of 6.
Yep, number 3 of 6. And so, I mean, now my older brother's moved out. He has a wife and a family. But even still, I have had to learn how to deal with a lot of different people, older people, younger people, and I really think that in managing and taking care of my younger siblings, that I have learned to just kind of manage people a little bit better. It's helped build me a few, personal, interpersonal skills. Yeah.
And so, how have you brought that in here? What's it been like being the intern of interns?
Yeah, well, it's really crazy because when I come and I then have to manage even and talk to people that are older than me, I have to kind of learn how to respect while still in a way being a level of authority, but we also each have different roles. So it's complicated, but I think that really helped me be able to manage and just kind of talk to different interns here.
And you are, how old are you?
I'm 18.
I forget. When you have 6 children, it's like, who are you? What's your name? How old are you? People can relate if you have a bunch of children,
Yeah.
especially when they're still at home. So, and you've been managing people significantly older than you too, the citizen journalists.
Right, yeah, totally. I mean, the interns are younger, but citizen journalists are all ages. There's there's young ones, there's old ones, and kind of it's a humbling thing and a learning to respect. And then, do you call them by their first name? Do you call them Mr. or Mrs.? There's these things I've had to wrestle with, and overall, though, I think I've been doing a pretty good job, and I love it that even the older people still respect me, and I respect them, and it's this great kind of relationship, because it's always been, when you're the kid, you feel like you're the kid, and they're the adult, and I've kind of, now I'm 18, I'm graduated, I'm starting to become, more and more of an adult, and so I've really been stepping into that identity in my interactions with citizen journalists.
So you've cross-trained around here. When you first got here, you got trained by Matt and by James on the board, so you were doing technical stuff. Then you started organizing the reporters. You've been doing calls out for even sponsors and dealing with sponsors. So overall, because this is what an internship should be, really giving you life skills. What have been the things you've enjoyed the most? Also, what are things that you've had to push through, challenging, and do them anyway? Because I have to do that, especially with my child. It's like you got to do it anyway, buddy. Even though you don't want to, you got to do it anyway. So what have been the sort of the highlights and the things that have pushed you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Honestly, I think what I love about it is when I first came, it's just so exciting, and it still is exciting, all the different things I get to do. Like he was saying, scheduling guests, talking to sponsors, technical things. And so I really love the variety of everything. But I think the hard parts were the times, really, a lot of it's all the work. It's a ton of work to do all this. Which I know is why I was so needed, because there's no way that my dad Chaim can do all that, even though he manages pretty well. But I was really honored.
No sleep.
Yeah, no sleep. But even with me taking over, there's still I found myself that I haven't had much time to do a lot of the things that I like to do, because I've had to put that aside for this work. But it's really good work, and I know that there's a lot of purpose behind it. So that's kind of the highs and the lows about it. There's a lot of work, and then of course, working with my dad. There's good times and bad times with that.
Yeah, and we're still working. At the same time, moving into an adult relationship with your child, that's a challenge. But then when you also have the home life, he's still at home, which we love that. We love that our children, stick around and don't head off at 18. That's a good thing. But then we have to flip the switch, while we're driving in the morning for work. So we're still working that out.
Yeah.
Let's just say. But I know that early on when you've talked about this, and we've had some events where you've talked about it. This passion, the thing that I love is that you picked up from me and Zach. Out of my 6 children, I think is more like me than anyone else, which has its highs and lows on that, because my strong personalities. But you have you picked up my passion for serving and for doing crazy, impossible projects and taking them on. And so, talk about that from your personal level, what it means for you to be here at the radio station, and how, I know that you love helping us, helping the family, helping doing that, but personally, what inspires you around here doing this work?
Ultimately, it is God. He has given me, so much in my life, and I feel like that since my life is owed to Him, that I need to use that for Him. And what that looks like in my life is working to make a difference for Him. And at the Peak is how I do that. I can come here instead of doing a regular job, which it's a regular job, but here I can do a not regular job. A lot of excitement, stress for sure, but I know that I am accomplishing and doing something really good for the kingdom. And I see the vision of what it can be. I see the vision of what it is. There's so many people are here behind this and making this happen. And so I'm just so happy to make that grow and encourage other people to get involved too.
And we have lots of really cool people coming through the radio station, not just for our program, but the other programs. So you get to meet a lot of people that are VIPs sort of in this town, because that's who comes to the radio station. So that's awesome. But you're also working. I want to let you know we let him out every so often. So one day a week he's working on a ranch out in Peyton. So how's that been working? Out in Colorado on a ranch.
Ew, it's awesome. I mean, it's really a different job than this. Here you're inside, but you're doing all these complicated things, but you're learning more, you're getting to talk to people. It's more personal, interpersonal and strategic. And then the ranch is really outside, getting to breathe fresh air, but also less focus, less learning.
So we leave that balance. Plus we have a little homestead of our own that he works on also. Well, the Peak Educational Foundation, I'm going to be talking about that in the next segment, but that's something that Zach's helping too, where we're going to be making this internship a lot more formal. But as we're finishing up, Zach, tell people how they can become interns. If you're out there and you're listening, especially if you have a child, or a grandchild who you're saying, what, this sounds interesting, and this is something that they've had this tendency toward media. In our last minute, what should people do if they're interested to learn more and apply to become an intern?
Hey guys, if you want to make a difference, if you want to learn on the job, you should totally become an intern here. So you can email me at my email, which is zachg@thepeak.news. That's ZACHG at thepeak.news. As well as if you forget that email or anything, you can totally reach out to us through social media, and
and we have the intern. If you go on thepeak.news, we do have an internship page,
right,
with that information, and there's a form to fill out.
Yeah.
Zach gets that, and then
I'll interview you. And I bet you'll be great.
And welcome in. There's so many things to do down here, and as you've been hearing from the 3 interns, there's a lot to do, and we've really made this into a program of what is it you want to do. Because basically anything within the radio realm, whether it's technical or reporter or anything, and the specifics of what you want to go after, like Audra, is available down here. So Zach, thanks so much for being our intern of interns and for being on the Peak today.
Thanks for having me. It's been a blast.
When I come back, I'll be sharing about the Peak News Educational Foundation and our journalistic ethics and vocational training program for local youth and how you can get involved in helping make that happen. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. This is Intern Day. We'll be right back. Thanks, Zach. Good interview.
It was awesome.
Okay.
Computer
Thank you.
screen is off again. So yeah, the computer shut down again. I don't know what's up. Abba. The computer.
Oh, we're done again? We stopped streaming?
I'm not quite sure if it had originally stopped, but the computer's always off. So
But it didn't do that yesterday.
I don't know.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're recording because we're not recording there. So do we want to try to get it back up?
Yeah. Might as well.
But I need to find out how to keep this from, from turning off, because yesterday it didn't.
Yesterday was not was straight on Facebook live streaming. This is on the other.
There's like screen idle settings you can put on it. I put it on my computer whenever I'm
Yeah,
uploading.
it still says live, but what's the deal?
I don't quite know, but then it's delayed. It's like it says it's live, but it's not. But then this stopped recording. It says
Okay.